Dig!
I'm Yoshi Green Tea Gal, aka the AnyTuber who sometimes uses funny visuals in lieu of a proper cold open joke. After surviving summer's near lethal temperatures without AC, today my 4 remaining brain cells and I are gonna give a quick and dirty rundown of the BL hopefuls airing next in every season. Each handpicked morsel tailored specifically to your refined palate. Let's dig in. Riding back into our lives this fall is the 5th season of Yoamashi Pedal Limit Break. If you remember many moons ago, to the very first video I ever made, I had a lot to say about Kishigami's tender coming-of-age BL drama stretched across the past 4 seasons. While his gayness is the most obvious, he's not the only bit of homoeroticism in this otherwise bonkers franchise by a long shot. It's a sports anime after all. There's like 2 female characters max. I even looked that up to make sure I was right, and Google still only gave me 4 people, 3 of which turned out to be dudes with curly names. Long story short, the number of ships in this show cannot easily be counted. The cool thing about Yowamushi is, you don't really need to be all that up to date on it. It's about boys on the cycling team who already have the stress levels of grown men doing the Tour de France. You're either on board watching them lose their minds riding bikes and show off weirdly specific skills, or you're not. Oh, and if you're already a fan of this franchise, try Overdrive. And yes, it can also be kinda fruity. It's a sports anime after all. Golden Kamuy is probably the closest to a bara anime we're gonna get without actually dipping into a gay tie-in. This show has consistently surprised me with how out of nowhere nuts in your face levels of gay it can be. I've referenced it here and on the Facebook page many times already. But if you've been sleeping on this franchise, it's an over-the-top, funny yet visceral treasure hunt and escort mission, woven through a retelling of the Japan-Russo War of the early 1900s. Yeah, it's kind of a lot, and I love it for that. Since BL made for or by women tends to have a completely different, slender, pastel, more bubble-filled vibe, Golden Kamuy is a breath of fresh air in the BL community, as it low-key caters to the gay men and Fujodanshi in the audience for a change. If you haven't noticed from all this footage, the cast is about 90% burly mountain men who clearly don't see a lot of women and don't appear to miss them all that much. At least half of them have simped for or been hit on by Lieutenant Tsugumi at some point. The show can be wildly sexual when it wants to be, and everyone is some slice of lunatic pie with a weird-ass fetish. And yes, that's exactly what it looks like. This is the kind of show you either just never vibe with, or that you miss dearly between seasons with no in-between. I'm sure you can guess which camp I pitch my tent in. Shinobi no Itoki, a new action-heavy modern-day ninja yarn from the makers of Aldnoah Zero and Idolish 7. The poster art makes this look like yet another harem, and then I actually watched the trailer and noticed the avalanche of dashing men in suits and quickly readjusted my Fujo expectations. I know there's a ton of new dudes to simp for in all my videos, but if a talking sword ends up being best boy this season, I'll eat my hat. Tensei Shitara Kendeshita is breaking the dark-haired incel mold by having its isekai protagonist come back not as a wielder, but a weapon. That time I got reincarnated as a sword looks like it knows how to not take itself too seriously, while still bringing the violence and destruction you'd expect from a battle isekai with demons in it. But why the f*** am I bringing this up? The fact that the MC isn't a bricked up boy hoping for a color-coded harem is a very good sign, especially for a genre that's usually lousy with chichi-onas. The fanservice is minimal, and the cast surprisingly diverse. It even takes the main heroine role and decides to fill it with a lolly, someone most people aren't really meant to sexualize. It's been 2 whole minutes and we've already sidestepped all the usual horny on main tropes. And the few shows that actually manage this tend to be BL friendly.
Wait, isn't that gonna make people think I'm actually a woman?
And you could be Will's girlfriend.
No, don't!
It's fine.
It's not!
Idolish 7 will continue to live rent-free in my head this fall with Third Beat Part 2. Expect the usual beautiful men singing beautifully while drama happens off stage. Because what's an idol anime without messy queens and an unruly prick, am I right? The series will pick up right where it left off, with Trigger dealing with the aforementioned prick's "I hate idols so I surround myself with them" antics. While Idolish 7 treads into uncharted territory with exciting new projects, aggressive new competition will be thrown into the mix. How the show will manage to jam more BL into all of that chaos is anyone's guess. With 3 seasons and counting, BL finds a way. I wonder what what this is about. There's no description on any chart, and
また同じ夢。
oh my god, I had no idea you were a boy. Thanks to years of RPG anime adaptations, this long-awaited Legend of Mana revival pricked up my ears. MC Shiloh is fantasy anime's favorite type of protagonist, twonk in a crop top who must go on a quest. In this case, to help a hot stranger save the Jubi tribe. I've seen dozens of fantasy RPG anime with BL undertones, and I don't think this one's gonna be any different. Toko no Guild stands out in the ecchi harem boy with lootable beast subgenre, in that the show isn't terrified of having more than one guy in the entirety of its fantasy world at a time. Weirdly enough, this is the exact type of show to have some joke BL gags thrown in. Paradoxically, some of the most in-your-face gayness happens in ecchi shonen shows. Changed my mind. With a protagonist this cute and a master this morally grey, I'm keeping my eye on it. Liden Films is blessing us with another unique gem this season, AQ Shonen Eternal Boys. With the tagline, you can teach an old dog new tricks. AQ Shonen is shaking up the male idol genre with a group of whatever Japan thinks are middle-aged men. Ulsan Idoru will have to wrestle with the youth-obsessed culture and show that you can shine at any age. Oh, can relate. It's billed as a comedy, so it knows not to take itself too seriously. Remember that time the dudes from K-Project stopped fighting and just became idols and no one batted an eye? But seriously though, it's always refreshing to see an anime that doesn't star a 15-year-old boy doing the best he can. Kudochi Danchi, a breezy comedy laced with good old-fashioned awkward humor about a group of boys who seem aloof, handsome, and mysterious on the surface, but it's just camouflage to hide the cringe within. So the opposite of Sakamoto, who's so smooth it makes him look low-key goofy. Hard to say this will have BL or not, but it is about a bunch of dudes unlucky in love that spend all their time together, so it's not exactly off the table. And since there can never be enough male idol shows, third one this season alone, we can look forward to Fast Rock the Animation, a new spin-off series featuring the Ski Pro idols mixing it up with 2 or more male idols to form 2 mega groups. The anime will follow the boys' daily lives, with each episode focusing on a different duo, with the Fujo-friendly intent to explore each relationship in depth. Sweet Baby Iruma-kun is back with Season 3 of Mighty Mashita Iruma-kun. I'm worried there'll be less and less BL with each passing season as his bottom bitch Asuka-kun gets less and less screen time. Here's holding out hope I'm wrong. The Legend of Galactic Heroes' Glow Up is back with Season 4, so I can continue to torture myself with my favorite ghost ship. The second half of Tiger and Bunny 2 will drop on Netflix on October 7th. I don't know why it feels like we've been waiting for it since before the birth of Christ, but Blue Lock is finally dropping this season. Oh, and some basketball show is back. I don't know much about it, it wasn't super popular, but it is one of the few sports anime dropping this season, so I figured you should know about it. And that is it from me. Which of these are you most looking forward to? Let me and others know about it in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and feel free to check out the other BL-laden content on this and the sister channel. Bye for now.